two or three different types of passive income when you think about storage investing. Most people think passive income is just like, very little work. All right. But the truth of the matter is that when you buy a facility or any business at all, there's going to be work that's involved. Right. So passive income is not, passive income doesn't mean buy a facility and then only work an hour a week or something like this, right? Although after you get it up and running and after you really stabilize it, depending on what type of a facility is, you are going to have, passive income. And passive income is not cash flow, right? Passive income is different from cash flow. Okay, so cash flow is like net, like what you're actually going to be making, what's your cash on cash return, what you're actually going to be making after your, you have your income minus your expenses minus your mortgage, becomes your like net, right? And so when you think of passive income, you have to think of like, what type of passive income that you want. Do you want cash flow, right? Cash flow is only one type of passive income. Is passive income to you, like just appreciation on the back end, right? So for me personally, passive income is really like the money I'm making, right, by not doing anything, which is really for me appreciation, because cash flow, right? Cash flow requires work. Cash flow requires a little bit of work, right? So, for me, it's like when I buy a facility for $1 million and I know I can sell it for $4 million, right? After I raise the rents, all I have to do is just raise the rents. That appreciation to me is like true passive income, because essentially all I'm doing is really just stabilizing the property and then making money on the back end, right? And you also have to be mindful of what kind of properties that you buy, right? So income producing properties will produce cash flow, right? And you'll make cash, but you still have to manage that facility. So it's truly not passive income, right? So storage, people always say like, oh, get into storage investing because you think it's passive income. All right. But the truth is that when you have to manage a facility, that's not true passive income, right? So just think about like passive income means what to you. And for me, possibly what I love about storage is the appreciation. I love cash flow as well too. And a lot of people think like, oh, I need to replace the income that I make right now. And I say, okay, well, how much money do you make right now? I make $100,000 a year. Well, $100,000 a year net, like to you, that's a lot of storage facilities. All right. That's a lot of doors. All right. Because you have to think your cash on cash return could be anywhere, typically 10 to 20%. Now, every once in a while, you'll find like a smoking hot deal, but typically your cash on cash return is 10 to 20%. Now, the deal that I'm going to go over in the pitch later, that has a cash on cash return. It depends on whether or not we pay cash or we leverage it out and go get a loan. And essentially what we're going to do on that deal is we're going to pay cash and buy it immediately and then stabilize it and refi it out. But the cash on cash return for that is 17% just by paying cash on it. Right. But once I leverage that money out and refi it out, it's at over a 40% cash on cash return. That's because the appreciation is so high on the back end. Right. So cash flow is important. I get that. You want to replace your income. Okay. But you have to think in terms of like cash on cash return. So if you buy $1 million property that's making $100,000, and it's netting 10% cash on cash return, then essentially you're making $10,000 and you're getting that, per year. So you're going to have 10 $1 million facilities to make $100,000. Okay. All right. Which is basically about 100 units. So it's like 1,000 And that's like us, it's like 1,000 doors. Okay. So just think about it that way. It's 100 units typically on average. This is like on average across the whole country. 100 units is around is valued at $1 million. $1 million makes around $100,000 a year, and your cash on cash return is 10%, which is about $10,000 a year. Let me just give you an idea. But so you can truly make, and people think that you can buy one facility and you're making $100,000, so that like that's your income, right? But the truth of the matter is that that's like the gross income. That's not the net income. The net income is minus all your expenses and everything. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind, that you're going to have to build up, your portfolio in order to make $100,000 a year and replace your income.